Alright, we're back again. You know, I was having so much fun I didn't want to cut it so short, and I sit there watching the other video. For some reason my phone was turning the other way, and I don't know why, but it wouldn't let me turn it back the other way. So I got that straightened out now. Got a little bit better lighting here in the garage. So I figured, you know, there's so many people that are on right now that I hate to put an end to the good times. So I figured I would do a little bit more talking and see who comes around and see what we get involved in. See what conversations we can start on. It's just it's a good night to do a live feed, and it's a good night to see who's out there, and a lot of people seem to be interested, so figured I'd come back and we do it all again. DB Bronco, thanks for showing up. Nice to see you. Nothing really going on, just figured it'd be a good night to do a live stream here. Chris Cox and Jeff and Snowman and Dylan. You know, we're having so much fun earlier, I didn't want to end it. So I figured, you know what, I'll come out here in the garage and we'll go again. We'll see what we can get into. You know. Seems to be a good night for a live feed. I guess Monday night after work everybody's around and has some time to hang out a little bit. How's it going, Greg? You know, it's nice to see everybody come out and shoot the bull a little bit with me. So I figured, you know, the last video I did, for some reason my phone, I guess when I took and started the live feed, I had my phone turned the wrong way, so it had me narrowing the screen. Hopefully now I'm filling your screen out a little bit better and you can see a little bit better lighting anyway. No, I don't have a wood stove out in this shop. This is just a little one-car garage I have in my backyard. This is my garage. We have a wood stove over my brother's garage, but out here, this is just a little garage I've got that I don't have heat. And I have a little electric heater here, keeping me warm. It's in the 40s, I think, 30s, 40s, so it ain't too bad. Hey, yep, I'm back, Joe. Figured I'd come back and keep you company some more, you know. I wanted to show you guys. I'm probably jumping into it a little bit early. I think it's probably gonna take a little bit of time for people to come around. Right now, I think I got 13 watching. I'm sure we'll build some steam here, but I wanted to show you guys the cutting board I made. How do you like that? It's about 1.5 inches thick. Nice walnut and maple. Some of the maple in that actually looks sort of has a red tint to it. Almost looks like cherry almost. It's got a nice little finish to it. Put some cutting board mineral oil in there and really came out nice. You know. And this is the second one. This is the one I'm going to give away. So if you guys are interested, just give you a little heads up. I am going to post a video tomorrow, I believe. I'll have the video out of me making it, and I'm going to figure out a way to run kind of a raffle out to try to give the cutting board away. I think the best thing to do is take a jar. I'm going to take a cup, fill it with M&Ms, and I'll let everybody take one guess in the comments. Everybody have one guess to see how many's in it, and then whoever gets the closest without going over it, I'll ship them the cutting board. So, if nothing else, I know a lot of the guys out there watching my channel probably aren't too keen on cooking, but maybe their wives are, or maybe, you know, make a nice present for somebody, you know, make a nice gift. Nice homemade cutting board. I think it came out pretty good, considering it was just a bunch of scrap wood I laying around, you know, left over from some other projects. We're getting ready to clean the garage out a little bit and get rid of, burn some wood and throw some of the scraps out, and I can't see throwing any walnut away, so even the little scraps make a nice cutting board out of it, you know. So, thanks for all the comments. I'm glad you guys like it. You know, I think it came out pretty good. Looks pretty good. I was thinking about, I made 2 of these, and I didn't really have any idea on the pattern. I just kind of laid them out. I'll give you a little preview, sneak preview of the video I'm going to post tomorrow. But I just kind of laid them out and glued them together. And I was thinking about doing 2 of these and then chopping both these up and then put the different patterns together and keep on going and make it like a checkerboard kind of pattern. But once I got these glued together, though, they look so nice the way they are. I figured, you know what? I think they're good as is. So I left them alone. Pretty nice little cutting board. So there's that. I was having to cook even before the divorce. You know, I'm not much of a cook myself, you know, but my wife wanted a cutting board, and it was one of those things where, actually, I don't know if you guys noticed in the comments or not, but there's a subscriber I have, Alice the Gmaw. She's a pretty loyal subscriber. You know, she comes around and comments on most of my videos, if not all my videos, and I think she made the suggestion to make a cutting board. She was where I got the idea from, and I was like, you know, I said something to my wife about a cutting board, and she said she would like a cutting board, so I said, hey, you know what, I got enough scraps, I'll make 2 of them, and I'll give one of them away. So happy wife, happy life. You got that right, you know. So, you know, I hope everybody is interested, and maybe it'd be a good giveaway. You know, it'd be something that, you know, you guys are all interested in, and hey, you know, give everybody a shot. I'll pay the shipping and everything, and let you guys, I'll give it out to whoever wants it. I'll tell you, I really got looking around on YouTube a little bit, and there's a lot of people out there that I watch that really deserve to have the subscribers and have their channel monetized. And unfortunately, with YouTube, these new restrictions, it really blows my mind. You know, there's so many people out there, and I hate to list them because I'd hate to leave anybody out, because I know there is a ton of videos and a ton of subscribers, a ton of viewers, a ton of people that watch my channel, and a lot of people that I watch that I wouldn't want to leave anybody out. But I am going to list a couple of people. I apologize if I don't list you. You know, I hope you don't get upset about that. But there are a few people that I want to kind of put out there. Clovota Milling, Clovota Milling and Signs. Now this guy has a Woodland Mill sawmill, and actually I believe I was watching his channel when I bought my sawmill. So he had his before me, and it was kind of one of those things that his channel helped me decide to buy my sawmill, I believe. Either that or I started watching it just shortly after I got it, but I'm pretty sure I started watching before I bought my sawmill. I was kind of interested in woodland mills, and I looked his channel up, and I was in the process of deciding what I was going to get when I started watching his channel. And he's a small YouTuber. He's only got about 400 subscribers, and he has the watch time. He has the 4,000 hours of watch time, but he doesn't have the subscribers. So, you know, I don't know if he's even a subscriber to my channel. I really don't think he is, but that's neither here nor there. I like his channel, so I watch his videos regardless whether or not he watches mine. I'm not into the sub for sub stuff, but I wanted to put his name out there, and if anybody's interested, he went and bought a Shark CNC milling machine. He takes the wood pieces and he takes and sits down and puts them out. The spelling is Clovota Milling and Signs is the name of the channel. I believe when I'm done here, I'll probably look his channel up and get a link to the description. I'll put it in the description of my video, so that way you guys can find it a little bit easier, make it easy to find it and click on it. Clovota, Clovota Milling, M-I-L-L-I-N-G, and Signs. So his channel, he's got a Shark CNC machine, and he sits down and he takes some pieces of the wood that he milled off of the milling machine, off the sawmill. He puts them on the CNC machine, and he makes all kinds of wood signs. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a little envious. I wish I had one of the CNC machines. Some of the signs he makes are really nice, and he does some with, you know, even starting to do pieces of aluminum and stuff too. So, let's see here. Try to watch some of these comments here a little bit. I think he did change his channel name a few years ago. I think you're right, Chris. You know, honestly, I can't even remember what it was originally. But, yeah, I believe he did change it. And, you know, I think he's one of those people that he's not as much into YouTube as I am. He's not like I'm sitting here talking to you guys and doing live feeds and, you know, talking to subscribers and going back and forth with people's channels. I think he's more of a post it and leave it. You know, he communicates through the comment section, but I don't think he's quite as heavy into YouTube as I am. And, you know, I don't hold that against anybody, but I get a little crazy with this stuff. But anyway, that's one of those channels that I think that he has put a lot of time in. He has a lot of videos, and you know, he deserves to have his stuff monetized. I think everybody does. But you know, I think it's a shame what YouTube's doing. I really don't fully understand why they're doing what they're doing and how they're doing it. But another one of those channels that I wanted to put out there is Real McCoy. I think most of you guys have already subscribed to him. Most of you already know him. He's a great guy, you know, and his personality, he's you know, he has a sawmill, circular sawmill, and he does some really good videos. He has some really nice stories. You know, he's a great guy. and I really feel like his channel, I think he's a little, I think it really hit home, and it kind of hurt his morale a little bit, the way they cut the monetization and stuff. And you know, I really like him. Real McCoy, RELMCCOY, I believe it is. But you know, I would like you guys to go over there and check his channel, show a little bit of support over there too. But yeah, Gator's World's another video, another channel. You know, he got hit hard too, and I think he's a little upset about it. I keep mentioning him and I keep talking about him, but you know what? Gator was one of those people that was there for my channel when I first started, when I had nobody watching my stuff, and he supported me. He came around, he talked to me in comments, and he helped support my channel. And I think it's only right that we have the small community we have going on here, that we help each other out a little bit. And Gator does some good videos. I really don't know why he doesn't have the watch times that he needs to get that monetization, you know. While I'm going down through the list here, I got just a couple of them I just wrote down before I started. This isn't in any particular order, and again, I apologize if I don't mention you. But Old Not Dead, you know, he's another one of the very loyal subscribers that I have, and he's another one that got hit hard with this demonetization, and I think he's a little upset about it too. He went through and he had a lot of people subscribe to his channel, I think trying to get him to that 1,000 so that he could keep his stuff monetized, and then a bunch of people bailed out lately, and he put a video out. He's a little upset about that. He ranted on about how, you know, people subscribe and then they turn around and unsubscribe, and I agree with him, that's not right either. You know, Skidder Kev, he's another one that doesn't have the subscriber count that he needs. You know, and I think a lot of you probably know him, a lot of you are already subscribed to him, but I just want to put his name back out there again. You know, Gator was a couple dollars away from his first 100. You know, even if he was a million miles away, that is just, it's a hard blow to sit down and have all that work and time and energy put into YouTube and have a channel going, and you're growing and you feel good about it. You get to that point where you're monetized, and a lot of people were to the point where they had that 10,000 views. They hit that 10,000 views, they monetize, and then they turn around, now they're getting the carpet ripped out from under them, and that's a tough thing to take, you know. And I really believe that Gator will do just fine. You know, I think it'll take a little bit of time for him to sit down and recompose himself a little bit, but I think he'll get right back on the horse, and things will be just fine. He'll end up getting his 4,000 hours, and you know, it'll all turn out just fine. Another one of the ones that I'm sure you guys are all subscribed to is Dylan's Woodworks. You know, he's another one that he's a little short on the subscriber count, you know, and he has a lot of good videos, and he's another one of the sawmill guys that, you know, I have a tight bond with here. He's usually here on the channel talking, and you know, if you guys aren't subscribed to these people, I'm not telling you to go out and subscribe to them. I'm telling you to go out and check their channel out, look into it, watch a couple of videos. If you like their content, subscribe to it. And you know, it's nice to have a community where you sit down and help each other out a little bit. I don't like the stuff where you guys, everybody, not you guys, but people on YouTube go and subscribe and unsubscribe just to try to get viewers to go to their channel, and that whole sub for sub stuff just doesn't work. So, you know, I think it's one of those things, if you like the stuff, you have a common interest, it's nice to help each other out a little bit. Hey Dylan, you're welcome. You know, you're one of my loyal subscribers too. You're always around watching my stuff, and I'm not sure if I found you first or you found me first, but it's nice to have somebody else that's out there kind of in a similar situation where, you know, we both have sawmills. We both sat down and got very similar sawmills, as a matter of fact, and it's interesting to kind of learn off each other a little bit. You know, it's nice to see the things you figure out, what works and what doesn't work, and sometimes it's nice just to get a little bit of an insight to help each other out a little bit. Chris says he gets a kick out of Gator's video today. Yeah, I'm back again, Jack. You know, I sat down and figured, you know, I'm having such a good time. I was having a blast. I had to cut it short because my daughter was out of her meeting. I had to go and drive home, but you know, I was having such a good time. I sat down at home and I was thinking, you know what, everybody's out. It's a Monday night. Everybody's out of work. It's getting a little bit later here in my time zone, but some people probably on the other side of the world are probably just getting out of work and stuff. And, you know, hey, I figured it's nice just to sit down and be able to shoot the breeze a little bit. What kind of device am I using? I'm using my phone right now. I have it's an Android Turbo 2, I believe it is. That's what I'm using. Excuse me. That's what I'm using right now. Is just my phone. I have it set up in my garage, sitting on my my little saw here. I have it sitting just kind of, you know. I sat down and started doing a couple of videos when I first started YouTube. This is where I started at, right here in my garage, you know, and I have a couple of work lights, shop lights that I've set up to kind of give me a little better lighting in here, and it just works out pretty good, you know. Gator's daughter's gonna put you guys to the test. Favorite part of the video today? What was it? I can tell you what I liked about it, but I already did in the comments of that video, so I'm not gonna spoil it, you know. Chris Cox says, I need to get some equipment to do videos. Chris, you know what my suggestion is to you? Here's my suggestion. This is what I started with right here. It's a GoPro Hero 5 Session, and it is a basic, easy, simple camera. I think it runs about 150 bucks, something like that. I could be a little over, a little under, something like that though. And it's pretty simple. All it is it you know, it just has a simple record button on it. Has a small menu. There's a little button here on the back. You can go through the menu if you want to, but it's real easy. Actually, all it is a little door here on the side. This door opens up, and it's got a place for a SIM card in there. SIM card is in here somewhere if I can get it to come out. Oh, it's already out. The SIM card's empty. It's in my phone actually right now. So a little SIM card goes in that little hole there, a little charging port there on top. And then when you put your SIM card in there, you close it up and you have a little power button there on top. And it just, I don't know if it'll even come on. It'll come on there. No SIM card is going to say. But you just click that, record, and it's a neat little compact video camera, and it's fairly cheap and easy. The mic on it isn't the greatest, but it's not too bad. Actually, I found that I went and bought a GoPro Hero 5 Black, the full-size GoPro. I have it up in the house right now, actually, but you know, that's about 300 bucks or something like that, somewhere in that neighborhood. And the mic on that one really is intermittent. I think it might be because I'm out in the sawdust all the time, and it might also be because of the plastic holder that I have on the camera. You know, it might muffle the sound a little bit, but for the price of the camera, I figured this is the best way to start. You know, you get these little cheap cameras, and you know, a SIM card pops in and out. You take the SIM card out. I put the SIM card in my phone. I was actually, believe it or not, my first few YouTube videos, I was editing off my phone. I put the SIM card in the top of my phone. I had an app, I can't remember the name of it right now, but Detector Pro, I think it was. And it was a pretty simple program, and it was really effective and easy to use. And it would take the video right off the SIM card, upload it onto the app, and then I could edit my videos, splice them, edit them, add music to them, the whole 9 yards, and it worked out pretty well. And I could upload them to YouTube right off of that app, and then that worked well for a little while. And then I started using my laptop a little bit. The only problem with uploading them on your phone is I couldn't get into some of the settings from YouTube on my phone. It won't let me monetize or change the thumbnail or a few other things. There's a few different sets of things in YouTube that I can't do off my phone. So I had to get a laptop to sit down to be able to make some of the edits and some of the things I wanted to do. And then I just recently upgraded to a better laptop, so that laptop I can do a lot more with. I can edit longer videos and put things together a little bit better, and I don't have it freezing up and binding. And the other thing is the storage space. My storage space, if you use your phone's going to fill up pretty quick with video, and eventually it's going to bog your phone down, and you know, it'll actually tell you have too much memory in it depending on what kind of phone you have, and then you got to delete your videos, which is what I was doing. Most of my videos I don't have backed up. They're all uploaded to YouTube and then deleted off my stuff. So if YouTube ever gets rid of them, they're gone. So not that that's a big deal though, because you know, I just kind of videoed what I was doing, and I'm happy to have them there on YouTube. And if they end up getting taken down or destroyed or missing or whatever happens to them, you know, that's okay with me. I got more coming, and from now on, everything I have from this point forward, I have backed up on an external hard drive. So now if anything would ever happen, I have everything backed up. and that's pretty simple too. I was taking them off the SIM cards, putting them on the laptop, and shifting them over to the hard drive and going from there. So let's see what's going on in the comments here. I'm missing some of it here. Talking about cameras here, okay. HP 7R full 4K HD action camera from Amazon. It's only 63 bucks. Wow, that'd be a lot cheaper than the GoPro there, huh? Oh. Got big fingers here. I'm clicking on a little bit of everything. Spin you guys right round too. I'll tell you, it's YouTube is a world of fun. I'm enjoying it really. You know, sitting down talking to you guys and going through stuff and talking about milling and talking about woodworking and talking about whatever. Oh, lost you there for a minute. Bumped my cord. My phone's charging. But yeah. Anyway, you know, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the camaraderie. I'm enjoying all the good times. You know, this little bump in the road with YouTube demonetizing everybody is a little crazy, I think. A lot of people are upset about that, you know, and I got lucky, to be honest with you. It's just a matter of luck. I was sitting there, I was looking up at a lot of these people that I'm mentioning now that aren't hitting these mile markers. A lot of them are my influence for doing YouTube, and a lot of them are the motivation that helped me get going here, you know. And Gator's a big one of those ones. It's why it kind of bothers me that he's taking this so hard, and it bothers me that you know, he's not being monetized, because he was one of the ones that helped me get started. So it's hard for me to be monetized and try to, you know, enjoy my milestones and then turn around and look at the him being demonetized. It's not really fair in my opinion, you know. Okay, Steve, he says the Woodland Mills looks like... Oh, wait, I lost it here. Woodland Mill sawmill looks like a great value. How's yours holding up? Repairs, power, etc. Okay, Woodland Mills, I've had mine. I bought it in September 2016, so I've had my sawmill now for a little over a year and a half. Close to a year and a half. And I've replaced nothing on it. Absolutely nothing. The only thing I've replaced is saw blades. They did have some upgrades from the time I bought my saw until the time that I have it now. There's some rubber bushings they had inside there for the saw adjustment for the tension. They replaced them with some steel washers. And there was the crank handle on mine originally didn't have a locking mechanism to lock it into the height to where it is. They've since changed that now. They have a little flywheel there with the holes drilled in it, so that when you spin the handle around, whenever you get to the point you want to be able to lock a pin in to hold it in place. That was an upgrade that they sent me. So besides those two upgrades, I haven't added or changed anything to my sawmill. I will say there's a couple small things that I have found with the Woodland sawmill that have been kind of a drawback. And the two things are, number one, if you watch my video about their sawmill, I did a review on them. There's a little clip there that holds the cable that raises and lowers the saw, and that little clip liked to come unscrewed. I couldn't tell you why. Mine came unscrewed a few times when I first started running it. I kept tightening it, it kept coming unscrewed. Eventually it came unscrewed. I didn't notice it. I went to crank the saw up and it bent it to the point where I couldn't close it and put it back together again. So I cut that off and welded a next gauge heavier was all I did. I went down to the hardware store and got the next size up and welded that on there. Haven't had an issue since then. And the second thing that I don't like about the sawmill is trying to keep it level, square, and true. Being that it sets on basically two pieces of angle iron and a couple of log bunks, the ground underneath it, if you don't have it perfectly level sitting on a concrete surface, I would say, it just, every little fluctuation of the ground underneath it, you feel it in the saw and it leaves bumps in your wood, and it doesn't want to cut straight and true. So I would say that probably the right thing. I know Wood Miser sells theirs. They have a tube frame underneath theirs, and that helps keep everything rigid and straight and true. And that's probably what I should have done. If you watch my videos, I drilled holes in the ground and put sonotubes in, put concrete tubes down to give mine a steady foundation. I didn't pour a concrete slab. I just poured tubes down to a little bit less work and a little bit easier to do for me. And it seems to be working pretty good so far. I did notice the other day I was out cutting this last snowstorm, and I think with the heavy frost, I think it moved a little bit on me, but not a whole lot, and I did leave some adjustment room to change things. Mike Anderson, hey, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a while. I was starting to wonder about you, you know. Let me see here. I'm losing some comments here. Let me go back a little bit here. Alright, Dylan says he loves his Woodland Mills, still new to it, but can't complain. Any issues I have are my own fault, and they still helping me out. Woodland Mills has a great customer service. You know, they always seem to be able to help you out on the phone or send you parts or just talk to you in general, anything you have any questions with. Their customer service is great. You know, look them up in the Better Business Bureau. They have a good rating, and they have a good rating for a reason, you know. Let's see here. Just Greg says he has an HM126, nearly 4 years old, and it has been flawless so far. I am in the same boat. I've had mine a year and a half, and I have had no issues whatsoever. Well, other than the little tiny knick-knack things I've been talking about, but they're really not issues, though. I'll tell you what, I think the Woodland Mill sawmill, especially the 122 or the 722, whatever we want to call it. I think they changed the numbers on it. 122, I think, is what they call it now. An HM122 is the smallest one they sell. Jack the Rip says needs more motor. You know, I agree with you, but at the same time, it's one of those price points where, you know, it was cheaper to get a smaller motor, and I think it cuts pine like a hot knife through butter. I believe you can cut pine just about as fast as you want all day, any day, and it'll cut like crazy. The hardwood's a little bit slower on it, could probably use a little more horsepower, but, you know, it's one of those price over, you know, what are you going to be able to afford? Chris says, Steve, I got mine in April. Love it. HM130. Been sawing live oak with no problem. Yeah, I believe you so. You know, it's a good saw. It really is. Mike Anderson says using down T angle for runners. You know, that's not a bad idea. You know, instead of angle iron, use a T. How deep did I go? I believe I went over 3 foot, I think, with my pillars. You know, the ones that are up underneath the roof of the garage there's 2 on the back end. I figured I'm not really using that for the logs and everything, so those ones are only about 1 foot deep. But I think they're just more or less there just to hold the very end up. You know, the rest of them are about 3 foot deep, though. I probably could have gone a little bit deeper, and I probably should have gone a little bit deeper, but it just was one of those things where I figured 3 feet should be good for support underneath the sawmill. And like I said, I put a 1/2-inch bolt in there for the angle iron to be set on, so that way I can adjust it up and down as I go. If the saw goes out of kilter a little bit, hopefully I can just adjust it. You know. And Greg says we'll type slower. You know, I'm glad that I can't keep up with the comments. That means there's enough people in here that I have an audience going, and you guys care to sit down and shoot the bull with me a little bit. So I appreciate all that. Chris says he plans on putting his on a foundation. Someday, eventually, I plan on putting mine on a foundation too of some kind. Probably a concrete slab would be nice to do. You know. Dylan says he was just cutting frozen pine logs. Cuts like butter. I believe it. I love cutting pine. Pine is one of my favorite logs to cut. It cuts so nice. It's nice to work with. It's nice. It's easy. The only thing is it's just so soft. It's when you use it for furniture or anything, it's, you know, anything you put on it or rest on it or rub against it, it's gonna leave a mark in it, and that's the unfortunate thing of using pine. I did use it for a dresser and for a cabinet. I think it's good. It's good wood. It looks good, and it's easy to work with. Joe says 42-inch to beat the frost from heaving it. Yeah, you're probably right for our area. Joe, you're kind of local and you would know. You're right, and you know, I probably should have gone a little bit deeper with it, but you know, I'm being right there next to the garage. I really don't have a whole lot of elements getting to it, but at the same time, you're probably right. I probably should have went a little bit deeper. An I-beam under the angle, that might work too. Dave Phillips, hello from Pasadena, Texas. Thanks for joining us, Dave. Saw Sarcasm says he can't see anything. He's still going. Yep, as far as I know, I'm still going. Dylan says he's hoping to pour a slab. You know, I don't know what to hope for. I really, if money was no option, I think I would upgrade and get a bigger sawmill. I really would, but there's a lot of things I want to do, but I'm not sure if it'll ever actually come together or not. You know, it's one of those things. It really depends on how things go. It depends on if I sell some lumber. It depends on if my YouTube channel takes off. It depends on how things all come together, and you know, if I have any extra spending money or not. And who knows, maybe someday I'll end up upgrading to a better sawmill. We'll wait and see how that goes. So what else we got going on here? 19 guys in here, 19 people in here watching, talking, shooting the breeze here. It's hard to believe it's only a half hour in. Sometimes I get on these things and it just, the stuff just starts flowing and it just starts going. Next thing I know, I'm on here for 2 hours. You know, I'm hoping not to get involved that much in this, but, you know, I was having such a good time sitting there talking with you guys earlier. It was just like, it was just flowing. It was just flying right out through, you know. But, yeah. You guys want to hear a good one? One of the projects I'm thinking about doing, saw Sarcasm, I sold any wood yet? Nope, haven't sold a lick, not a single board. I haven't sold a single board. I've traded some wood for some trees and logs, but I haven't sold any lumber at all. What would I buy if I upgraded? You know, I hate to go against Woodland Mills, but I would buy a Wood Miser. I would probably like an LT40, something like that. You know, I want a bigger sawmill and something that I could transport, something I can move around a little bit better. I like Woodland Mills, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I think Wood Miser's kind of the Cadillac, you know. Am I selling any firewood? I have sold firewood. If you watch some of my videos, there were some cherry trees I cut down a few months back, and they were rotten in the core, and it just wasn't worth me milling a lot of that up. So I ended up bucking them down, cutting them into some rounds, and I sold some of them. I didn't sell very much, but it was enough to get a couple bucks out of it anyway. Most of the firewood I have going on now, those slabs that I was asking everybody, what do you guys think about the slab wood? What should I do with the slab wood? I cut the slab wood up and I stacked it, and I have it drying right now. I have about roughly 2 cords or so of hardwood sitting there drying. Next year I plan on using that wood in the garage. I'll use that to heat the garage up. So, you know, if I get to the point where I have a whole ton of extra firewood laying around, I'll probably sell some. But for right now, I think I've decided that I'm just going to cut it, stack it, and burn it myself. Boy, my finger's having a tough time here at the screen. Dylan says his friend has an LT40 and runs his business with it. You know, I don't know if I'd go full-time with a sawmill or not. If I found the people and the business and found people coming looking for wood and it was going that well, I'd probably consider doing it. I have a lot of fun cutting with a sawmill and a lot of fun moving logs, and it's a very rewarding job. It's a very self-rewarding. You know, it's one of those things where you enjoy what you're doing, you enjoy the job, and at the end of the day you go home and you know you worked hard for a good day's worth of work. Fisherman 506, 8-inch used I-beam, 18-foot long cross braced 4 times with 6-inch 2-inch angle for track. So I would say that would probably do it. That would probably be very similar to the Woodmiser's LT10. I think has a square tubing frame underneath it, and then has the angle iron on top. It's a very similar design. Seems to work well for that. Slab wood for rustic drawer fronts. You know, we built a dresser a while back. Well, my brother built a dresser a while back where he did something like that. He cut some logs and made them into dresser fronts. The only thing with that is it makes a heavy dresser. You know, it does look good, but it is heavy. Greg says his wife cuts down pieces and uses them for craft projects. You know, I look at a lot of the slab wood, and it's like a lot of it looks like it'd be great for slab wood projects. You know, anything you can think of, there's a lot of different things that wood could be used for, and it almost feels like a sin to burn it. But you know what though, sometimes it's just one of those things where you can only keep so much of it on hand, you know. How about adding a big still 59-inch with an Alaskan mill, 60-inch? You know, I would love to do an Alaskan mill too. That might be something in the future I might end up doing. Getting a bigger chainsaw and getting an Alaskan mill just to be able to cut some of the bigger logs down to get them onto my sawmill. Would probably be a good thing. Dylan says he built a rabbit hutch and a chicken coop from slab wood. You know, that's probably, I'm probably going to use some slab wood for the kiln I plan on building. Kiln's probably going to be pretty rustic, and it's probably going to be pretty, you know, simple put together. Just going to be some slab wood, some solar panels, and some clear roofing. But that's one of the projects I plan on doing this spring. I keep mentioning that, and I am going to get to that. It's just the snow and the ice and stuff. It's just, I think I'm going to wait till spring to get that started. Norwood and an LT40. I tell you, I've seen those LT40s. That's probably what I would shoot for eventually. Let's see, C-A-L-F-A-L, Calful. One says, do I have a regular job also? Yes, I do. I have a regular full-time job. I work nights during the weekends. I work 12-hour nights. And that provides me my bread and butter. You know, that's my normal standard job. And then I work the sawmill is just a hobby for me. You know, the YouTube and working on the sawmill is just something I do for a hobby. It's something I do just for fun. Yeah, throwing logs around is a bunch of fun. Some people wouldn't think so, but to be honest with you, it is a lot of fun. Saw Sarcasm says he just Alaska milled some fir and some maple live edge, hoping to sell it. 36-inch bar, 28 inches wide, and maybe 30 if it take the dogs off. Hoping to ask 100-ish. You know, I think you'd get them. The only problem is I think a lot of people want the wood kiln dried, and that's where I think I'm running into trouble too, because I have a lot of the walnut logs that I milled up, trying to sell some slabs of them, and I don't think anybody's interested just because they're green wood and it's not kiln dried. A good source of scrap steel, don't we all, Chris? You know, I couldn't even tell you. I bought my steel, the angle iron. I used 20-foot long pieces of angle iron. I bought from a local precision welding shop, and it wasn't cheap. You know, that's one of those things that you don't know where else to get that kind of stuff at. Dylan says he sells his wood green. Sells quick here, but depends on the area, I'm sure. I can tell you that my area is just crazy populated with wood and sawmills and all kinds of stuff. If you sit down and get on Craigslist, it's like it pops up all over the place. And maybe it's just me trying to sell it. I don't push it very hard, and I don't put very many ads out there, and it only comes around once in a while. You know, I just don't really try to sell it too hard. I'm not much of a salesman. 50 by 13 trailer house frame for cheap. You know, that's a good way of going about it too. The mobile homes, a lot of people destroy them. The old ones they tear off, and then the frame they're looking to just get rid of them. That is a good source for some scrap steel. I got a crazy idea. I was sitting there thinking, and don't ask me why. Don't ask me how I come up with these crazy ideas. Sometimes they just come into my head. But I was sitting there thinking about it. You know, I've got a couple of go-karts laying around with some Predator engines on them. And you know how they work. It's just a basic centrifugal clutch with a chain on that runs down to a sprocket on a wheel and drives the wheel. And they're one-wheel drive, most of the old go-karts. And they have just a brake drum on them to stop them. What I was thinking about doing, and this is probably a crazy idea, I have some wheels laying around here in the shop. I think I'm going to build a cart and put just a little two-wheeled cart on the back side of a log. You pick the back side of the log up with that log dolly I have, and put the back end of the log on a set of wheels, and have probably a ratchet strap or a chain to hold the back side down to this little set of wheels in the back end. And then take the log arch and put it on the front end of the log. Put a motor on the log arch. Run a chain down to one of the wheels, run a drive sprocket onto one of the wheels, and motorize the log arch. That way you can sit on the log and run the log arch and actually have the log, basically a motorized log. That's a funny, dumb hillbilly kind of thing, but you know what though, I think it'd be a lot of fun to ride a log around the yard. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. I have a couple of bikes laying around, and could take the handbrakes off of the bicycles and put them on the log arch, and then run the cables down to the engine, one for the throttle and one for the brake. And that way I'd have some gas and a brake, and I think it'd just be fun to just watch me run around the yard on a log, you know, and have a motorized log. I think that would be just a good time written all over that. So, you know, log rider in the sky. Yeah, I think it'd be a good time. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but, you know, hold my beer, I got this kind of thing. You know, I think it'd be a good time, you know. I think it'd just be I think it'd be fun. Not only would it be fun, but I think it'd probably be a good video for YouTube, you know. Especially if it doesn't work out, you know, then it'd be really fun, you know. But I think it'd work out just fine. But that's one of those things I got rolling around in my head. It's like, you know, what do you do for fun? Ah, well, you know, I strap a motor on a log, you know, that's my idea of a good time. I don't know. I'm a little crazy. What do you want? Next on Ben Salmon, we visit Ben in the hospital. Hey, you know what? I've broken plenty of bones doing crazy things in my time, and it won't be the first, won't be the last, you know. But I thought you guys would enjoy that little tidbit. You know, don't go stealing my ideas now, you know. But I think I'm going to do that. I really do. I think I'm going to... I've got a couple sprockets and some chain and some things laying around. I think I can put that right together. Jack says I'm nuts. I'll tell you what. I think it's going to be a good time. I really do. Get flying around the log going, you know, 20 miles an hour around the backyard. I think that's a good time written all over it. A log arch behind the tractor. That's kind of the I guess the normal way of using one, you know. But I just think it'd be fun to motorize one. You're building a buzzsaw after seeing mine. I think that's a new craze now. Everybody likes the buzzsaw. Everybody likes the buzzsaw. I'll tell you, my buzzsaw, you know, if you guys want a little bit of tidbit on the buzzsaw is definitely underpowered. If you're going to build a buzzsaw, you know, I don't know. I just want to let you guys in on a little insight. First of all, it is a dangerous thing. You're spinning a big wheel. A lot of people are upset about the safety on that thing. But I found that running my buzzsaw the way I have it, if you watch my videos on it, I have the blade come across to a belt. The belt comes down to a shaft and then goes from that shaft over to a centrifugal clutch on my motor. Runs really well. Really well. I should get a little bit of a better adjustment on the motor to tighten the belt a little bit between the centrifugal clutch and that shaft that's in the middle there. I only have it tightened by hand, and it doesn't want to tighten real well there. Does it need more gear to slow the blade? I probably should slow the blade down. You know, Tractor Man 44, he's got it all figured out. He's got one, if you watch his videos. The ones that hook up to the PTO on the tractor are probably the best. They're the easiest controlled, I think, and the most reliable. There's ones that run off a belt on a tractor. I think they would work well too. I like the idea of putting it on the little motor just because it's so mobile. I can take and move it, fire it up, You shut it off, put it away. It's just like a lawnmower or a garden tractor. It's easy to store, it's easy to use, and it just seems to work well. Yeah, you're right, Jack. I would get more torque out of it. But the more I run it, the more I like it. The way I have it right now, if I bind it up, and I have bound it up, I put a 3-inch thick slab in there. Some places it's a knot or something and it doesn't want to cut. If I bind that in there, it binds and it spins the belt a little bit, and I'm able to either pull it back out or shut the motor off and dislodge the piece that I have bound. It doesn't break the blade, it doesn't send shrapnel flying around, and it works out, in my opinion, really well. I've cut 4 cords of wood off that saw already, and it runs like a champ. It just runs and it cuts no problem. A little bit of binding that it does do, I think, is actually a good thing, because if it would bind and I had a little more power there, maybe I'd break things, I don't know. But it works and it works well. So I don't know if I'm really in too much of a hurry to start changing things, go buying different sprockets or changing the speed of it or anything else. It just seems to work out well. It's a backyard homemade thing, and it's not perfect by any means. There's probably a lot of different things I could do to improve it. But yeah. Just Greg says he's got an 11 horsepower Harbor Freight Predator engine waiting, finishing the frame. Yeah, I'll tell you, I think that'll work perfect. That'll probably work great. Just got to be careful around it is all. Dylan, I think he's working on one too. If he's still here hanging out watching, I think he's got one in the works. He's got a blade for it. It's one of those things, I never even heard of a buzzsaw before. I think Cecil is where I ended up seeing one and started. YouTube has been a big help for me figuring out a lot of the stuff that I do on my sawmill. I watch some of these guys that have a sawmill and watch some of the things they do, and I'm kind of picking things up as I go along. I know a lot of people have gotten hurt off a buzzsaw, so word of caution, if you're going to build one, be careful. I'm not preaching safety and I'm not hounding anybody, but at the same time, you just gotta, you gotta take yourself, take and be cautious and take care of your own safety, Dylan says he's gonna take his motor off his mill to run his. Boy, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. I don't know. Maybe it is. We'll see. I guess keep us posted on that. Jack wants to know, how big is the big pulley? Honestly, I'm not even sure. I'd have to measure it, to be honest. I can't remember. Just Greg says, I'm an industrial mechanic, safety third, LOL. I'll tell you what, I'm an industrial electrician, and it's basically the same thing. I do a lot of mechanical work too. I'm involved in a lot of the mechanics as well, but they always preach safety first, safety first, safety first. Sometimes I think it gets to be a little much. Predator mowing, only 99 bucks. That's exactly where I got mine at. 99 bucks, 6.5 horse, Predator engine, Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight's a great place. I love Harbor Freight. A lot of people don't like it. It's kind of Chinese junk, this and that. But you know what though? You can't beat it sometimes. It's like, sometimes the stuff that it's just so easy to get your hands on, and it works. Especially if you're not using it every day. It's good stuff. Those Predator engines, I put them on a couple of go-karts, and we ran them pretty hard, and they're running like a champ, Let's see here. I Jay Thompson, I was reading your message and you retracted it. What's going on there? Anyway, Harbor Freight requires common sense. Yeah, I can't say that better. A lot of the stuff, if you're practical and you're using it for the right job and you're thinking about how hard you're using it, a lot of the stuff will work great. I was thinking about starting to do some reviews. I throw a lot of ideas out there, and a lot of these live feeds, I'm just kind of talking and pinging ideas off you guys and just kind of shooting the bull with you. So just hang in there with me. But I was thinking about doing some reviews on some of the Harbor Freight stuff. There's a lot of tools that I have from Harbor Freight, or I've bought from Harbor Freight, and a lot of things that I would like to buy from Harbor Freight. So I'm thinking maybe I'll do like a maybe a Harbor Freight Friday special or something. You know, every Friday I'll post a tool or something I bought from Harbor Freight and give you a review on it and show you in use and show you what I do with it and show you what I think about it. Give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down on it. I don't know if that's a good idea or not, but it's another one of those ideas that's running around my head, you know. I might be crazy, but, you know, I just kind of ping pong things around. Harbor Freight is great for the weekend warrior. You're right about that. And how to maybe upgrade too. You know, some stuff from Harbor Freight though is like that torch I was using the other day to melt the ice off my sawmill. That thing is great, you know, and I only use it a handful of times, but every time I've had to use it, it's great. Oh, let's see here. We're back. Thomas says, "Hey Ben, I seen a rack a guy made stacks of slabs and cut down through the sections and he's done." I think I've seen that same video or one similar to it. He makes I think it's made out of wood, and he stacks all the slab wood in there, and then he just runs the chainsaw down through the slits in the wood, and then he has it basically cut to the length that he needs. I was watching that and I like that idea. The only thing is, if you try cutting wood with a chainsaw, I'll give you a stack of slab wood and you can take the chainsaw, you can take 2 guys and 2 chainsaws, and I'll take my buck saw, and I think I'll run circles around you anyway. You know, because it cuts so fast and so slick. You can feed it just about as fast as you want, and it'll just sling, 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 and you're there with a chainsaw. It just, I will never trade a buzzsaw for a chainsaw as far as cutting slab wood goes. You know, I think that it would be good to make a rig. I do believe I'll take some pallets probably and some slab wood and make some basic setups to set my slab wood in so that I can take with the skid loader and move the pallets loaded with slab wood around so that I can cut them at a later date, and it'd be easier than just throwing them on the ground like I've been doing. But I'm still kind of figuring things out a little bit. It's one of those things where, you know, it's a constantly evolving situation. I cut the slab wood, I throw it on the ground, and then Skidder Kev was saying to me about these the slab racks, you know, and I was looking and thinking about them. Eventually steel ones would probably be the way to go, and there's a lot of channels out there. If you watch that Linda Sawmill, or I think it's something Al Sawmill or something, I can't remember the name of the channel, but videos by Al, I think it is. And they professionally cut. They have a sawmill and they have everything on steel, and they have racks that they put their stuff in, and it's a very slick operation, and it's very professional, and they make a living off it, I believe. So, you know, there's always potential to make a living from cutting wood with a sawmill, but I just don't think that a manual sawmill like I've got is what you need to do things professionally. You know, this is a hobby sawmill that I've got, and cutting the stuff I'm cutting is just for my own personal use more than cutting for somebody else. So there's that. What else do I got going on here? You know, what do you guys think about the videos I post? I posted a video a while back, actually not that long ago, last week I think it was, about the deer with the snowblower. You know, sometimes I'm running around doing things and I post something oddball like that. I mean, it was a 30-second clip. I just thought it was odd that the deer were that brazen to cross the yard right there in front of me while I was running a snowblower. I should have got my camera out a little bit earlier. They were closer to me, but sometimes I think I shouldn't post videos like that. And then I think, you know, I don't know, maybe that's some interesting stuff that you guys would like to see. I don't know. Harbor Freight Sawmill, you own 2 of them, wow. Fisherman 506 says, did the blade that I use come with the buzzsaw? It looks new. No, the blade that I got came from another piece of machinery. It was going to the scrapyard I saved it off of, and it was basically a newer blade off of, it was actually for a metal saw, but yeah, it's not made for what I'm doing with it, but it's one of those things where it frees for me, so, You know, if I can salvage it from a scrapyard, it's better to do that than it is from buying a brand new one. You can buy them offline, and you can buy new ones. They're readily available. They're just a little on the expensive side. DB Bronco says, I watch all your videos, Ben. Hey, I appreciate that. You know, I really do. It's nice to know that there's other people out there that are interested in my videos, and, you know, I must be doing something right if people are watching them. Or the chestnut video, LOL. But you'll get crossover traffic maybe. Well, that was the other thing I was thinking. You know, if you sit down and I do the same thing every day, and I run the sawmill, and I'm running back and forth on the sawmill every day, and every one of my videos has the same tags: woodland mill, sawmill, slab wood, chainsaw, this and that. You know, I'm kind of dedicated to that, and I'm kind of beating a dead horse there a little bit. You know, it's one of those things where everybody's interested, but I think once I get to a certain point, everyone that's looking that kind of stuff up, I pretty much have had either come across my channel and walk away, or have come subscribed and is part of the community. You know, so if I put a video in there every once in a while of me shoveling snow, or talking about, you know, looking at deer, or going out and picking chestnuts, or, you know, whatever I'm doing, you know, I think that might be something that gets me a little bit of a variety going. I guess I need to sit down and really do some thinking and figure out where I want this channel to go. Do I want to do reviews? Do I want to talk about, you know, what I'm doing on a daily basis? Do I want to just keep it on sawmills? You know, I keep bringing the same stuff up, and it's one of those things where I apologize, I'm probably boring the crap out of you guys, but, you know, it's one of those things that I don't know what to post sometimes, and I hate to go for a week and not post a video and, you know, start to have the channel go stale on me. Joe says, we're interested in whatever you have to share, Ben. Well, I appreciate that. Then, you know, I think I'll probably just keep them coming then. Cut live edge slabs, black cherry, walnut, oak, sell like popcorn in Illinois. You know, I wish it would sell like popcorn here in Pennsylvania. I think I just got to find the right people, and I think it would sell. I just think that finding the right people, making the right connections is a big part of it. You know. Yeah, you're right about that, Jack. Eat aluminum like crazy. I enjoyed the deer video. The daughter said bacon wrapped tenderloin. Yeah, I'll tell you what, those deer, they're bold. Right there in next to the houses like that, they don't care about a motor running or nothing. Steve says to look up oval slab cuts and maybe try that sometime. You know, I tried that kind of in a mini video. If you look it up, I had cutting oval slabs, I think was the name of my video, and I cut small ones, only about, you know, little cookie size ones, and I was just putting a branch down through the sawmill, and I cut them at an angle just to get that oval shape. And you know, maybe if I was making signs, I would consider making them oval shaped, just because if you have that big oval sign shape and then you put the name or whatever, you know, campsite or, you know, whatever would be in there, it just would probably be a good idea. Have fun with it, don't make it stressful. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, it gets into your mind where it's like, I enjoy the crap out of YouTube, I really do. I have a lot of fun with you guys, sitting here talking and everything, and it's just a lot of fun. Chicken races, where are you in Pennsylvania? I'm in northeast Pennsylvania. I would say I'm between Wilkes-Barre and Williamsport. I'm kind of in a little, you know, little dead-end area of the state here. It's kind of like, it's just a small town. I live in Berwick, PA, if you want to look that up. Berwick. It's just a little town in the middle of Pennsylvania, in the middle of northeast Pennsylvania, I should say. Saw Sarcasm says, I think you and maybe some other milling channels should have a fun little competition and see how thin you can make a board and see how far you can bend a green board. Bonus points for a circle. I'll bet you I could do a circle without too much of a problem. I've cut some stuff pretty thin. It's almost see-through, and once you get that thin and it's green, it'll bend. And I'm pretty sure I could bend a circle. Next time I'm out there, maybe I'll try it just for you. Oval sign sandblasted would be cool. You know, I never tried sandblasting wood. I never tried that. I have a sandblaster sitting right here, actually. It's actually sitting right there. Anyway, I got the little Harbor Freight sandblaster sitting right here on the ground behind me. I could probably sandblast the sign, but I never tried that. That'd be something interesting to try, I guess. Sandblasting wood and see how it goes. Hey, how's it going? Timberline North. You know, I tell you, YouTube has just been so much fun and so great. It's one of those things that just, I don't know what to say or do anymore. It's one of those things where I feel like there's a lot of people out there that have really good channels and really good content, and they have such a great personality. The people are just fun to watch, and it's one of those things where it's like you really feel a sense of camaraderie with these people, and you like to watch them, and their channels really aren't doing that great. You know, it's one of those things where sometimes the people that just sit and talk like I'm doing right now kind of run things into the ground for themselves, and I really don't want to do that. I don't want to destroy a good thing, but yet I want to enjoy myself and have a good time doing it. And I think that's where the conflict comes in, where it starts to get to like, what do you want to do with yourself? Do you want to have a bunch of friends? Do you want to make money? What do you want to do here with YouTube? And to be honest with you, I have no idea. I would always like to make money. Everybody likes to make money. Money is the king, but money is also the root of all evil, you know. So it's one of those things where you know, I don't know what to say or do with YouTube. It's one of those things that's going to evolve, and it's going to evolve one way or the other. I had a huge spike in December, huge spike in December, and I made some good money in a day. And then the bottom fell out of it after actually took about a week. It shot straight up to the sky, and it leveled out for about a week. And I thought, holy cow, if it maintained that way that it was in the beginning of December, I'd probably quit my job and do YouTube for a living. But it didn't maintain. It stayed that way for about a week, and the bottom dropped out of it and went right back down to about where I was. And now it's actually sitting at a point where I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe it's because I'm not doing as many videos. In December I was doing about a video a day. I had some time off for Christmas and New Year's, and I was smashing them out. I was just putting a video out every day. I was having a lot of views, and everything was going great. And then January come along. January went, the bottom fell out even worse, and everything just went down. And now I'm kind of on a downward trend now. Actually, if you look at my stuff, it's just kind of almost down and out, back to where I was before Christmas, before December. So it's one of those things where I don't know what to say or do. What's right, what's wrong, what am I doing that's working, and what am I doing that's not working? I couldn't tell you. The only thing I know that is working for sure is posting tags and videos that have something in them that brings people to my channel that aren't subscribing and aren't watching my videos on a full-time basis. You guys that are my loyal subscribers that are watching my live feed, you guys are about 10% of my views. 90% of them are coming from people that don't stick around, don't comment, and don't watch my stuff. They just watch a little bit and they either move on, or they keep watching my videos and don't subscribe. I don't know, but you know, I could probably take a piece of paper and pencil and list everybody that comments on my videos and everybody that's subscribed to my videos that I know of, and you know, it doesn't add up to the 50,000 views that I have on one or two of my videos, you know. So let's see, what am I missing here in the comments? Here, let me back up a little bit. Sand bounces off rubber and eats away wood. Makes cool signs. I'll have to look that up, Jack. I've never seen that done. Chris Cox says he's been enjoying the live chat, getting to know me and my subscribers. I think it's nice to have a tight community and be able to have everybody here kind of communicating and helping each other out, supporting each other. It makes a big difference. Everyone's too busy stacking wood. Dylan says, I have a job that I have done good at, but I would be happier doing something else. Do what makes you happy, and it won't be work. If you love it, people will love watching it. You know, I hope you're right, because I do love it. I do love YouTube. It's been a whole lot of fun, and I hope it continues to grow, continues to take off. Let's see here. Kirk says, not that I ever expected to make any money with YouTube, but how do you collect money from them? Jack PayPal question mark. No, here's how it works. Here's how it works. Here's the big secret to YouTube. What you do is you sit down and you start a channel. When you start a channel, when I started mine, you had to have 10,000 views in order to monetize your videos. Okay, so you post a bunch of videos. It took me from May to October to get 10,000 views, which was a lot of work and a lot of time involved and invested for nothing. So you worked all that time for zero, for nothing. You got the 10,000 views. Okay, I got 10,000 views. Done deal. Then I sat down and you go through YouTube. In the YouTube settings, there's a section there for monetizing. You click on the monetize, it says okay, you have to apply for AdSense. YouTube is either owned or co-owned or however it is through Google. So you sit down through Google, you go on Google AdSense. Google AdSense is a whole nother thing. It's a separate entity all by itself, but it's also connected through YouTube. You get on Google AdSense, you make an account. You put your name, your address, your information in there. Now you have an AdSense account. So now your AdSense account is basically what they use to put the ads on the beginning or middle or end of your videos. So once you start getting more views now, once you get so many views, people watch the ads. When they watch the ads on your video, they click on the ads or they watch the ads. Every time they watch the ad or they click on the ad, if there's a commercial in the beginning of my video, let's say, and I've had this happen already, where there's a commercial on the video says, you know, this new game out there, there's this new app, go download this game. Okay, so then someone watching my video clicks on that game and downloads that game. When they go through my channel and they click on it through my advertisement and they click on that, I get $1 for that one view, that one click. That one time, that one click got me $1. And I've seen it because I've seen my analytics where I only got one view on a video for the day, and for that day I got a whole $1. So that person clicked on that ad and supported that advertisement, and I got paid. That $1 goes into my AdSense account. The AdSense account has a retainer of $100. Once you hit that $100 mark, you can withdraw that money into your bank account. Now you go through AdSense, which is its own separate entity. It's involved with Google and YouTube. It's all one basic idea, but it's its own separate thing. You go through AdSense and you hook your bank account to it. They have all your information. You have to give them your tax information, which involves your social security number and all of your shipping address. You have to verify your shipping address. They send you something in the mail. They give you a number. You put that number in, so you verify you are who you say you are where you say you are, and you have your social security number, your banking information, your bank account numbers. Then they take that money. Once you hit that $100, they take that money out. I just got a notification 21st for the previous month. So if you hit $100 in December, January, they ship you out your money. So then your money goes straight into your bank account and you get paid. So that long bunch of hoo-ha, that makes sense to anybody? Pull liner and spray contact cement. Trace the design on the rubber and cut out the excess, leaving a rubber design. Blast, then peel, and you have a flat to be painted with the sand etched background. I'm going to have to try that. That sounds like a good time right there. I'm going to really seriously have to try that. You're welcome. you know, sit down and explain all that. I try to do the best I can. You know, I try to give you all the information I can. If you sit down, there was actually, if you watch my videos and go through the comments, there's actually a guy on one of my channels that said something about, you know, YouTube doesn't make any money. He's been doing YouTube for 10 years, never made any money. And he said, my channel only makes $60 a month, but I don't make any money, because you have to hit $100 to be able to withdraw. And he didn't understand that every month, if you don't hit that $100, it just sits there and builds. So you go $60 one month, and the next month another $60, that's $120. You can cash out after the second month. But he never went in and verified his tax information, so they kept that money stacked in that AdSense account, and he didn't understand or know how that worked. He thought because his analytics said that he only made $60 a month, that he wasn't making enough money to be able to withdraw anything. So after talking to him and going back and forth in the comments of one of my videos, and you guys can go check that out if you want, a couple of videos ago, he went and checked it out. He had $1,600 sitting in there in the AdSense account that he didn't even know about. So that's one of those things. It's like, you know, it's something you learn a little bit as you go, and if they don't tell you about it, it's a little misleading and a little confusing. People don't quite understand that. But if you're sitting down making videos and every month you're making a little bit of money, that money goes into that AdSense account. And if you're not hitting that $100, it continues to build month after month until you hit that $100. And if you don't give them your tax information and you don't give them your you can send you a check, I think, is one of the other options. They do send checks out. And I think it depends probably too on, you know, if it's what country you're in or where you're located. But for me, it was easiest for me to just direct deposit my bank account information and let them ship it that way. So I hope that all makes sense. You know, I thought it was funny that somebody can have $1,600 sitting in an account that they didn't even know existed. You know. Yeah, there's a lot of people working on 1,000 subscribers. You know, it's one of those things that, like, it blows my mind. The thing that sucks is there's people out there that have worked very hard making a channel and making videos, and they sit down and they got themselves monetized and they're making money and it's collecting. And there might be, Gator's a perfect example. He's right at that $100, and he's, you know, right there, just about ready to get ready to be able to cash out $100. And then they turn around and demonetize his account, and now he's got $99 sitting in an AdSense account he can't withdraw, in a YouTube video that doesn't make any money because they yanked the plug on him. You know, I would be so disgusted. I can understand and I feel his pain on that. You know, that's one of those things that's like, I can't even imagine the, you know, you don't do YouTube for the money. You don't do YouTube for the money, because I can tell you right now, I spent May, June, July, August, September, and October. I spent 6 months not making a single penny off of YouTube. And then, you know, November, December, and January, this month would be the first month that I get some money out of YouTube. So, you know, I've gotten to that point where I beat that threshold of $100. But, you know, is it worth 8 months worth of work to get $100? Probably not. But it is a little satisfying to know that you are getting something for all your effort. You know. Yeah, you know, I don't know what YouTube's deal is. I really don't understand their logic and their stuff that they're doing. They sit down and they say, now you gotta have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time before they'll let you monetize your stuff. And some of the people that do make a living on PayPal get a little silly and unrealistic with their videos. A lot of people get silly and unrealistic with their videos. I was talking about that the other day. There's people on there that do such stupid stuff. You know, it's like they sit down and they do stuff that makes no sense at all just to get views. And the funny thing is, I guess it's a lot of kids that watch their stuff. That's the funny thing about it. I think that's what doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But they sit down and a bunch of kids are watching somebody, you know, shoot something or smash something or do something stupid, and all of a sudden their video goes viral. They make a whole ton of money, and, you know, it can get crazy fast. I'm sure about that. I haven't gotten to the point where I've gotten crazy money, but I can tell you that there's been money coming in for sure. And you know, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with all this. It's just crazy stuff, and I'm just sitting here going around circles. I think, you know, it's just clickbait thumbnails, my pet peeve. You know, you should get a woman in a bathing suit splitting some firewood, you know, and then post it, and then, you know, stand there, and then you could be out there, you know. It just stuff like that I don't understand, you know, but it does get people to click your stuff though, right? You know. Joe says continue to post and we'll continue to support you. I appreciate that, Joe. You know, these live feed things, I think it gives me a lot of feedback. It gives me a lot of help with you guys. Let me know what you think, and it helps me kind of get my juices flowing here. It gets my thought process going. It helps me think things through a little bit. And I know a lot of people aren't interested in watching, and to be honest with you, I have no hard feelings. If you don't want to hear me sit here and just go blah 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 blah, you know, I don't blame you for leaving. I probably wouldn't even watch my own stuff, to be honest with you. Some days it gets kind of humdrum, and the live feeds are a lot of just chit-chatting with the stuff, and, you know, if I'm boring you, you know, I don't have any hard feelings for you to, you know, exit stage left. You know, I get it. I know a lot of people like watching the sawmill stuff, and a lot of people like, see, I said that, now somebody left. You know, it's funny sitting here. I got 28 people watching. I said that, and now I'm down to 27. But that's all right. You know, it's neither here nor there. It's just it's one of those things, you know. You know, I really appreciate everybody watching. I say the word appreciate so much in my comments and in my words and in these talking to you guys. I say the word appreciate so much. It's almost like I feel like I'm overusing the word, but I really do. It's really something, you know. Circle board challenge. You know what? I like your style. Saw Sarcasm says, circle board challenge. I'll do it too with my Alaskan mill. Anyone else want to try it? The end of February. Hey, see you, Dylan. Thanks for stopping in, and thanks for watching. You know, I'll definitely be talking with you. Jay Thomas says you're just a nice guy, Ben. You know what's funny? I told my wife I'm going to come out in the garage and sit here, and it is, I think it's 9, 10 o'clock at night. I don't know what time it is. Let's see. It is 10:30 at night. It is 10:30 now, and my wife says to me, what are you going out in the garage for? And I said, well, I'm going to go do a live feed. I'm going to go sit and talk with all the people on my YouTube channel. And she laughs at me. She says, you know, who would watch you talk? And I said, I don't know, you know, but there are people out there that find it interesting, and that, you know, I can talk and have a little bit of camaraderie. I really feel it's camaraderie. It's a group of people that have similar-minded people that like to, you know, enjoy talking to each other, you know. Let's see here. What's the comment say here? D. Nicholas says, I've always worked so hard to make the best videos that I can. That I worried that live wouldn't be that awesome. What do you have to say about your experiences? All I can say is the live feeds, I think, are basically for the people that are hardcore subscribed to you and are on the same page and wavelength with you. I think the mass majority of YouTube people, if you're looking to make money on YouTube, I'll let you in on the secrets that I understand and that I know. If you're looking to make money on YouTube, you have to make videos that people will watch and don't care about subscribing to you. Don't care about what kind of person you are. Don't care about your lifestyle. Don't care about anything about you. The only thing they care about is the 10 minutes of interesting content to keep themselves entertained long enough to go on to the next video and find something else to watch. That's all it is. It's a bunch of people that are sitting there in a waiting room in a doctor's office looking for something to watch. In the meantime, it's kids in between classes at lunchtime watching something. It's somebody looking for the next big thing to say, hey, look at this. If you can make a video that you would share with a friend, that you would say, hey, look, you got to check this out. Look at this guy. Look at this thing. Look at what he's doing here. If you can do that, you will make serious money on YouTube. The problem is, what is that thing? How do you do that? What do you do? A lot of people, including myself, are just doing what they do on a normal basis and are videoing it, and you have a small audience that is interested in that kind of stuff. A lot of my audience, I think roughly 60% of my audience is over the age of 40. You know, a lot of the people that are interested in my stuff are interested in learning something. They're interested in what I'm doing because they're interested in doing something similar, and they're interested in my experiences and learning the ins and outs and the ups and downs and going along for the ride with me. So, make a cat video, 10 million views, I don't know why. I can tell you because it's funny. I mean, you watch some of the cat videos, I'm not a cat person, to be honest with you. I don't have a cat, I don't like cats, to be honest. I have had cats in the past. I think they're more cleanup duty than they are worth the fun and fuzzy, ooh, look at this. But I'll tell you what, you watch a dog lick a cat's face, or you watch a cat knock a dog off a couch or something, and you laugh, and it's funny, and it gives you that sense of, you know, haha, it's funny. Cat on a sawmill, that might be a good video. You know, I don't know about that, you know. You know, you have animal rights people driving you nuts, you know, it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the right thing is. That's why I post some stuff like I do, like deer by the snowblower. You never know. That might go viral. You know, 30 seconds of watching deer look at a snowblower. Some people will find that so funny and interesting, and just next thing you know, you have, you know, $1 million in your pocket, you know. Timberline North says, how many of you have bandsaw mills? I can tell you, out of my subscribers, I believe there's at least 30 people that have sawmills, at least. Probably more. There's 30 that I know of. Let's put it that way. Cat's paw in a sawmill. You know, Matt Cremona is following his bliss. I'll tell you, Matt, I watch his videos, his channel. His channel was another one that got me to decide to buy my sawmill. I was watching him when he was first starting doing some of his days in the woods stuff, and he was doing some cutting trees and things, and it was one of those things like, man, I can do that, why not? It looks like a lot of good fun, and that was one of the things that helped me get the idea to buy my sawmill. Yeah, you know, Chris says some of us wish we could get a sawmill or had enough property to get one. I'm in the same boat, to be honest with you. I live on a property in town, a 60 by 160 lot. I don't have any room for a sawmill. And if it wasn't for the generosity of my brother letting me have the sawmill on his property, I would be hard pressed to try to figure out what I would do and how I would do it. Eventually, if money takes off, maybe I'll buy a bigger piece of land, a bigger house or something, I don't know. But for the time being, I use my sawmill at my brother's place. You got your sawmill because of me. Did you tell Woodland Mills that? You know, I don't know. I watch these guys that get these sponsorships, and they have these people paying them like $10,000 a video to go, ooh, look at this and that. And I think I show I think I show Woodland Mills Sawmill enough, and I think that I've probably sold a few sawmills for them, but I don't expect anything out of them. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, I don't expect them to sponsor me. I don't expect them to give me a bigger sawmill or anything like that. You know, I think that would be a little ridiculous, and I'd be asking a lot, but it's just one of those things. It's like wishful thinking. You wish one day that something would happen like that. You'd get the attention of a big company like that, and they'd take care of you, but I don't think that's in the cards for me. Make a sawmill 30-inch capacity. I'll tell you, I wish I could make a sawmill. I know I could make a sawmill. Maybe someday I'll do that. I don't know. It's one of those things that a lot of my projects I build like that, they start out with a great intention and a great idea, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. Not yet, but I should tell Lori. If, you know, I wouldn't go out of your way to make a comment to them. I just kind of funning with you. You know, it's one of those things. I wonder if the Lori you're talking about is the same Lori that contacts me and talks to me. They sent me 2 hats. They did send me 2 hats, one for me and one for my brother. So, you know, I got 2 baseball caps out of you know, all the Woodland Mill stuff. You know, a bigger mill. Yeah, I would like a bigger mill. You know, I'm probably nuts, but a lot of the logs that I cut, You know, the sawmill I have right now is a 722. The throat on it's only 18 inches, and I think the sawmill setup's only for a 22-inch log. I have 26, 28, 30-inch logs that I can't cut on my sawmill, so I end up either trimming them down with a chainsaw or, you know, hacking and butchering at them to get them to fit through the sawmill. So yeah, I would like a bigger sawmill. Wide, not long, but you know, something I could fit a bigger log on there. A manual 30-inch capacity mill would work you to death. Well, here's the thing though, you know, I could always use a skid loader to flip the logs. You know, I could use a skid loader or a winch, or I could even hook up a hydraulic cylinder or something. I could figure something out if I had to. I could always come up with the reservoir and put a hydraulic cylinder to flip it if I wanted to. Figure where to add metal to each crossbar and get longer blades. See, I think it'd be tougher than that though, because you have your uprights and then you have your wheels on there, and your wheels are mounted, you know, within such a distance of each other, and you'd have to separate the sawmill and bring them out further. It could be done. It could be modified. It could be done. You know, there's a lot of backyard redneck engineering that I could probably do to make it cut a bigger log. They sent your whole family hats. Well, here's the thing. I think if I had my whole family on YouTube, I think they'd probably send my whole family hats too. But you know, that's nice that they do that kind of stuff. Woodland Mills is a good company. I can't cut them down. I've seen that video, I think. Chris Cox is talking about, there's a video out there where someone cut a wood miser sawmill to make it wider. That takes guts. The money you spend on a wood miser sawmill, and then to take and cut it. I think he cut it right up the middle. He cut it in half and he spread it and he separated it to make it cut bigger. And that takes some guts, you know. Out of warranty. You know, maybe what I should do is buy a Harbor Freight sawmill and cut that in half, and then split that out and separate that. But that's still $2,000 though. That's still a lot of money. I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I cut my sawmill apart and then I spent 6 months working on it to try to get it back together again. You know, that would drive me nuts. An Alaskan mill reduce the size of your log. That's more or less probably what I'm going to eventually get to. I'll end up doing that. You know, I have thought about that. He says, have you ever thought about cutting the throat out and making it cut more than 6 inches? I have thought about that. The more I use my sawmill, the more I realize that 6 inches is probably sufficient on the throat. You can cut, if you flip the log around, you can cut. The height on my logs is the problem. When I crank the saw all the way up, I think the top, I don't want to give you a wrong number here, but I think it's something like 20 inches from the top of the bunks to the top of the saw blade when you crank it all the way to the very top. So I've only got 20 inches there, and that 20 inches has hindered me a couple times. And 26, it might be 26, but it definitely has hindered me. I think I can fit a 26-inch log in there, but that's including the 6 inches through the throat though. I think it's 20 inches to the blade and then 26 to the top of the throat, I think. I could be wrong, but I think it's 20 inches. Because I've put a 26-inch log on there, and I felt bad cutting the top 6 inches of it off. But I would like to extend that higher so I can go 30, 35 inches in the air would be nice. And then it'd be nice if I could go the same thing widthwise, you know. A lot of people are building sawmills from scratch, and I think that's another area where I get a lot of views from people who are interested in what I have going on, because they're looking at sawmills to try to figure out how to build one. And I think the Woodland Mills, the Harbor Freight, even the Wood Miser LT10, I think a lot of them have all basically the same idea. It's a very simple thing. It's basically two wheels that hold the saw blade, and one of the wheels is driven with the belt that comes over to a centrifugal clutch that is held onto the motor, and that's all there is to it. You know, it's really, really simple. And if I had really investigated it and thought about it when I first bought my sawmill, I probably would have tried building my own. The things that gets kind of, does your clutch throw sparks? I don't think my clutch has ever thrown sparks. I would say no. I don't think I've ever had my clutch throw sparks. But anyway, I think I would probably try to... I don't think it would be a problem with making a sawmill. The only problem would be keeping it square and level and straight. And then on top of that, if the further your wheels are apart, the more flex you're going to have in your blade. So that's why they have those blade guides. Even on the Wood-Mizer, they're adjustable, where they come in to where you're holding the blade at a distance from your log as close as you can get to help support that blade. If you're going across a big area and you don't have that adjustable guide, I think that would be a problem. So that would be another thing you'd have to work on. Yeah, it does have roller guides, like the Cooks. What the sawmill has is it has a couple of blocks, and the blocks are what the blade rides through, and they're blade guide blocks. And then on the other side of them, there's a bolt that goes up through with a roller bearing that holds the blade. So if the blade moves back, it moves back into the roller bearings. So. Hey, Drive Shaft Drew, you gotta go. See you later. You know, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you stopping in and checking the channel out and watching. And I'll definitely be in to see what you got going on before too long. You know, one of the things Drive Shaft Drew I like about his channel, he's got all the stickers of all the other channels. He's got on the dashboard behind him. And I like that idea. I think that's a good idea. Maybe... I gotta figure out what I want for a logo or what I want for something. I don't really necessarily want to put Woodland Mill Sawmill out there on a sticker. I think that would be kind of trademark infringement kind of thing. But I think I need to come up with my own brand a little bit better. My little round circle is a picture of my sawmill, and I don't want to be putting Woodland Mill's name out on a sticker or anything else like that. I want to make stickers for my channel to kind of help promote my channel a little bit, and I think it would be neat to be able to do giveaways, t-shirts or stickers or that kind of thing maybe in the future here if things continue to take off and my channel continues to grow. But I really got to work on what I'm going to use for a logo, so that's one of those things I got to think about too. Yeah, Jay Thomas says you're going to have to be precise on your blade guides. Building a sawmill, I think, is it'd be a very picky thing where I think you're off a little bit, you're going to be off by a mile when you start cutting. Well, you got sparks coming out of your centrifugal clutch. Kirk says sparks started a fire the other day. I would say you got issues there. I would definitely contact Woodland Mills and talk to them and maybe get yourself a new centrifugal clutch. You know, that I would definitely say is an issue. You shouldn't be throwing any sparks. Mike says, makes sense. The cheap build videos on YouTube all seem to have issues with the blade guides unless they spring for the roller guides. There's a lot more... that's a lot on a $500 budget, though. Yeah, you know, if you can build a sawmill on $500, I will definitely be interested in seeing that. I don't know if I'm subscribed to you or not, or if you have a channel or not. I don't think I'm subscribed to you. But if you start posting videos, if you start making one, I would recommend you post some videos on it. I would be interested. I'd watch it. You know, drop me a comment in one of my videos, and I'll be sure to come over there and check your channel out. And I'd like to see it. You know, if you can build a sawmill for $500, I think that would make a great video, great channel, and I'd be interested to see it. Fiverr can help with the design. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of apps out there and a lot of different places that I think I can look and I could probably figure something out. It's just a matter of finding the time to sit down and figure a logo out and figure out what I would want to do for that. No videos yet, but the build is in progress. I would recommend you video that because that's going to be something I would like to see it. You know, Mike, if you're building that and if you got the opportunity and the time to set up even on your phone video some video on that, I would like to see it. You know, but I understand too. It's hard to video what you're doing sometimes. Yeah, Matt's sawmill cost $8,000. $8,000. You know, I believe that wholeheartedly. It's easy to spend that kind of money when you start buying steel and you start buying the parts that you need to buy. The wheels alone, the guide wheels, and the steel alone, I could see going into the thousands of dollars. And that's one of those things where, you know, I consider myself a pretty good mechanic and a pretty good electrician, and I think I can do just about anything, welding and putting stuff together like that. But I would be very upset if I spent $8,000 in parts and got it and it didn't work out. Jay Thomas says he's got about $1,500 in his. You know, I think that's probably realistic. And that's why I went and bought one from Woodland Mills, because I figured $2,000 for theirs versus me spending that kind of money to build one. You know, it's one of those things. I think it would definitely be a little bit better to build your own and be able to say, hey, I built my own sawmill. That would be great, but I think it'd be a lot of work too. Where the heck do you get your blades? And thanks for the sharpening video. I'll tell you what, a couple different things. My sharpening video, you know, I sharpened my own blades, tried to sharpen them with a file, and it worked for a little while. I got to the point now where I've had my end professionally sharpened, and I'm still not happy with them. I think once you go beyond a certain point with a saw blade, they're just no good anymore. Unfortunately, you can use them a few times, and it's tough to get a good edge on them again once you use them over a certain point. They're just, unfortunately, they're no good anymore. So, saw blades, I would recommend that you probably have them sharpened by a professional sharpener, and then once you sharpen them a couple times, unfortunately, the saw blade just doesn't. Even sharpen them and setting them, I have a hard time getting them to cut real well 2 or 3 times out. It just gets to the point where the blades are no good anymore. Where do I get my blades? I don't really want to share that information because you guys are going to laugh at me, but Blade Kings is the website. BladeKings.com, I believe it is. I think it's $20 a saw blade on my saws, you know, and it's one of those things where it's probably not the best price, it's probably not the best, and it's probably not the cheapest, and there's probably a lot of people out there that are going to be like, you're nuts, you know, spending, I think it's 19 something a blade or $20 a blade, but at the end of the day, I find that they're Lennox blades, and they cut really well, you know. Trying to sharpen them is a bugger, but yeah, so there's that. Where was I at here? Jeff says, went silent, driving on slick roads. If you're driving, I wouldn't recommend being on YouTube, but, you know, just be careful out there is all I can say about that, you know. Fisherman506 says, check out my build video. I will definitely do that. You know what? I'm not sure if I'm going to remember. Do me a favor and leave me a comment in one of my other videos so that way I can find your channel easy and I can get to you and click on you and check you out, and I'll shoot over there and definitely check that out. I'm always interested in checking out sawmill videos, whether they're home built or whether they're bought. So just drop me a comment in one of my videos if you haven't already. I don't believe I'm subscribed to you, and I'll come over and check that out for sure. Harbor Freight is $17.50 delivered. Yeah, that's a little bit cheaper than the other saws, aren't they? And then Jeff, in the very next comment, says they're $2,200. I think it's like anything else with Harbor Freight. You could probably hackle with them with their price a little bit with coupons or whatever. Harbor Freight, is that one really good enough for you? Their stuff is a lot of time for me. But other things, nope. I use tools too much. Found my first couple nails. Isn't that fun when you hit a nail with the saw? Once you hit a nail with them blades, forget it. You know, I tried sharpening them after hitting nails, and it's the blade's garbage. You know, I've hit that bullet. A lot of people tell me that a bullet is copper and lead, and the bullet won't bother your saw blade. Bull. I got news for you. It definitely affects the saw blade. Cutting anything other than wood with the saw blade will definitely affect the saw blade. Cutting that bullet, I busted that saw blade. I went and I tried cutting with that saw blade after I hit that bullet, and it had a rattle to it, and it ended up putting a crack in one of the teeth, and it ended up running right through and broke the blade on me. So that blade's garbage. I thought about re-welding the saw blades after they crack like that, but it's just not worth it. I just throw them out and buy another one. I lost some comments there somewhere. I don't know what's going on here. I'm a little behind. Jim Cox says, you are cutting thousands of dollars worth of lumber and trying to resharpen blades, question mark. Just put a new one on. Here's the thing though, you know, guys like me, we're out here trying to do things the cheapest possible, and I'm doing things as a hobby, so I'm doing them for myself. So all the lumber, it might be thousands of dollars worth of lumber, but when I take $1,000 worth of lumber, plane it all down, cut it all up, make a dresser out of it, and put it in my bedroom, do I really get $1,000 out of it? You know, it's not like I'm making a ton of money off it. So I'm trying to do things as cheap as I can. So I resharpen the blade, and then I take the blade and use it as much as I can. And I'll tell you, even if I'm not getting the best cut off the saw blade, I'll still tend to use them, even if they're a little dull. Sometimes they'll have a little bit of a walk to it, or a little bit of a, you know, I use it till I can't use it no more, and I throw them out. But I figure that even if I have a little bit of the blade starts to move a little bit on me, or has a little bit of a wave in the board, it doesn't really bother me. Because like I said before, I'm cutting the board about an inch thick, and I'm planing it down to 3/4. So at the end of the day, I'm cutting, you know, even after it shrinks and everything, 3/8 of an inch or more off of it. So I have a lot of room to plane it down and get a good dimensional board out of it, and still get plenty of good wood out of it. So, you know. Dylan, I think you mentioned this to me before. I got mine from Jerry's Resharp. Ripper 37 blades, about $16 each. You know, I don't know why I didn't go that route. I looked that up, and for some reason, I don't remember why. But for some reason, I don't know if I had already ordered them or what the deal was, but for some reason I didn't go that route. I know we've talked about that, and I was going to go that route, and for some reason I didn't. Jeff says now he's parked now. You know, if I told you that I never looked at a YouTube video while I was driving, or I never had my phone on while I was driving, I'd be lying to you. You know, I'm not a saint, and you know, I'll admit my flaws, but you know, you're saying you had it on an auxiliary jack and listening to it, and I've done that too. You know, so just be careful. Dylan says, what about cutting cats? Got your log holder with saw yet? Got you log holder with saw yet? I'm not sure what you're asking there. Got you log holder with saw yet? I'm not sure what you're asking. Just wait until you find an embedded porcelain insulator in a tree. It'll wipe the teeth off the blade. You know, I'll tell you, I've hit a lot of things in trees. I've hit barbed wire fence, I've hit nails, I've hit spikes, I've hit screws, I've hit bullets. I haven't hit an insulator yet. Not to say that it won't happen, but so far I haven't hit one yet. And I've had other people tell me that too, that other people have hit porcelain insulators and really messed up their saw blades. I'll tell you one of the other things I've seen, if you watch Real McCoy, one of his, he hit a handle from a fence. I think somebody put a fence, an actual latched fence, and it was like a big spike, and he hit it with a circular saw blade and blew the circular saw blade. And I'll tell you, that's a heck of a thing, hitting something like that with a circular saw blade. But yeah, I'm sure there's different things out there that I definitely come across running the saw. Run those blades till the wheels fall off. Yeah, I do too, you know. It's probably not the right thing to do, but I do it. I've heard most woodworkers develop wood allergies. What can you do to prevent this? You got me. You know, I've worked with wood my whole life, you know, more as a hobby than a profession, and wearing a respirator is definitely a good idea. Jack the Rip says wear a respirator, that's probably the best idea. And I'll tell you, a lot of woods are poisonous, you're right about that too. One of the things that I can tell you over my years, when I was young, I never wore a respirator. And the older I get, the more I wear them, because it does affect you. It does affect your lungs, it does affect your nose, and it affects your breathing. And I'll tell you, you know, I don't know why, but sometimes I have a hard time breathing through my nose. I broke my nose a couple times, and I think it might have something to do with, you know, the cartilage buildup in my nose. But that's a whole other story. But anyway, I do think that breathing in the sawdust is definitely not good for your health. So I would recommend definitely getting a respirator. I don't wear a respirator when I'm running my sawmill. I'm out in the open air. The saw's blowing out the other end. It does blow around sometimes, and sometimes it does come around, but I don't think it's to the point that you need a respirator for running a bandsaw. But running the planer, on the other hand, that's definitely a dusty job. That I don't have a dust collector hooked up to my planer. Actually, my brother's planer. And, you know, that's one of those things that blows a lot of dust around. Dylan says he has yet to hit anything in a sawmill. Well, I can tell you this. It depends on where you're getting your logs from. If you're getting your logs out in the woods, you're probably not going to be as likely to hit anything. I get a lot of my logs are urban logs. A lot of mine come out of people's yards and houses, and they come from around, not houses, but you know what I mean, next to houses. So a lot of people are nailing things to them, putting fences around them and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, it just, that's where you get a lot of your garbage metal from. I should get a metal detector, and that'd probably be the best way to go. Maybe that'd be one of those things I can buy from Harbor Freight and do a review on. And very next comment: have you used a metal detector to check your logs? I haven't. I've gotten that comment a couple times before, and I've gotten that suggestion, and I probably should. You know, it's one of those things that I just haven't done. Won't work on bullets or porcelain. Good for iron. Yeah, you know, I don't know. Will a metal detector work on bullets? I know a metal detector will pick up gold and silver. Will it pick up copper? I don't know if it'll pick up lead. I don't know. That'd be an interesting thing to try. Just Greg says bedtime. Enjoyed the feed in the chat. Take care. Talk to you later. Have a good night. Use a respirator for cedar. Collecting sawdust for a 30-gallon rocket stove. I've had so many suggestions to build a rocket stove, and I've thought about that. And, you know, it's one of those things I just can't see it really working out too well. I think a rocket stove is one of those things that it could work out well, but I just think a lot of the sawdust I have is very wet from running the water through the sawmill, so everything's wet. It sits outside in the ground. For me to collect the sawdust, store the sawdust, preferably dry the sawdust, pack it into a drum, and then burn it. It just seems like a lot more work than it would be worth to build a rocket stove. Or, you know, I like the idea in a way, but it's one of those things where I only have so much time in the day, and I think I would be running myself around circles to try to get that to work. Jay Thomas says, I know a guy supposedly hit part of a bicycle frame. I've heard stories like that. I've heard people hitting, you know, little kids' tricycle frames where the bike was parked next to the tree and the tree grew around it. And, you know, bike handlebars and things, trees, and the bike's leaning on the tree and the tree grows right around it. Is a metal detector expensive enough to just say, another saw blade is cheaper for a good while, I'd hope? You know, I don't know. I think somebody said something about there's a good metal detector for like 20 bucks at Harbor Freight. I didn't check that out myself. I didn't go and look it up. But that's one of those things that eventually when I go back out there, I'll definitely check that out and I will look into that and see. And I will let you know. I'll use it and see how well it works. And maybe I'll even see if it does pick the bullet up or not. But I don't know if it would or not. I actually have a cheap metal detector, but I don't know how well it works though. Chris Cox says he bought a metal detector from Harbor Freight and hasn't used it yet. Some metal detectors will pick up lead. Musket ball. Yeah, you know, I think it will. And that's one of those things that I think it depends on the metal detector. It depends on the metal detector and the settings on the metal detector. But I know a lot of metal detectors will pick up different metals. Copper, gold, silver, those kinds of things. Bullets are made from a lot of different things. I don't know about ferro metals. I'm not sure. Wait until you hit unexploded military munitions and logs harvested from military bases. You know, I hope that never happens. That seems like one of those things that'd be a bad day. You know, I would hope that never happens. Places like northern France, I'm sure that is something that could be common. Around here, I don't know of any military bases that I have around here anywhere that I'm going to get anything like that. I hope I don't run into anything like that. Iron and steel by far the most magnetic. Yeah, absolutely. You know, certain settings on certain metal detectors, I was looking into getting different metal detectors at one time, and I know there's ones that you can pick up non-ferrous material, gold and silver and things of that nature. So I'm thinking copper and lead probably wouldn't be that far off either. It'd be just another setting. There's certain settings on certain metal detectors that it only picks up ferrous metals, your steel, and different stuff that's magnetic, you know, but I'm no expert on any of that, but I can just tell you that a little bit of experience that I have, there are different settings on metal detectors that do pick up non-ferrous metals, such as lead for, you know, musket balls and things of that nature, but yeah, you know, I think I will probably pick up a metal detector from Harbor Freight and run it across. There's a guy I was watching running a woodland, or a wood miser. I can't remember the name of his channel. I just subscribed to him. I think I've watched 2 or 3 of his videos. He was actually cutting reclaimed boards. They tore a building down and they glued 2x6s together for some kind of roof beam or something they had there. And it was probably, I think, 20 some inches wide. And in the top and the bottom of it, they ran across for the ceiling for the roof. They nailed all the nails in it. There was just a crazy number of nails in this beam. And I looked at it and I cringed just thinking about trying to cut that. And what he ended up doing was he stood it up on end and he cut down 6 inches or so and he cut off the piece that had all the nails into it. And then he flipped it and he cut the other side off. It was the same thing. And on the face of it didn't look bad. And he ran a little wand metal detector across it. And he was picking up different nails here and there and he was able to get them out. And it worked out really well for him. I was surprised to see that he was able to cut that big beam without hitting any nails, because when you first looked at it you saw the nails and I wouldn't even consider cutting it on my sawmill, but he had the little hand scanner metal detector and he claimed it was only a couple of dollars, $16 or something off Amazon or something, and it seemed to work pretty well. I don't know how deep it would work. I don't know if you're talking about an actual log and you have something buried in the middle of it, would it be able to pick that up or not? I'm not sure, but you know, that's one of those things, I guess it's trial and error. And another thing is your time and your time restraints on what you're trying to do and how fast you want to do it. If I'm looking to try to cut 15 logs in a day and I'm throwing them up and I'm cutting them and I'm flipping them and I'm cutting them and I'm cutting them and I'm stacking them, I'm moving and moving and moving. You know, if I take the time to sit down and metal detect and wand a log and keep scanning around the log, is it worth the time of doing that? I guess yes and no. If you're lucky enough that you find the metal and you don't run the saw blade into it, then yeah, it's worth it because you didn't spend the time and money on the saw blade. But if you are getting logs that you don't have any metal in them, then it's kind of a waste of time to run a metal detector over them. So I can see the pros and cons on both sides of that. Well, guys, I've been here for 2 hours. I think we've been going long enough here. I have enjoyed this live feed, and I enjoyed the one before this very much so. I appreciate you guys tuning in and all the comments and all the conversation talking back and forth. I really do appreciate you guys watching everything, and I appreciate everything. I don't know that I'm going to post this video or not, being that it's 2 hours long. I think maybe what I'll do is I'll put it right in the comment, or right in the title. Maybe I'll put it, you know, shooting a bull with the subscribers, so that way people don't feel the obligation to sit down and watch this whole thing. I don't expect anybody to watch all of my videos. I don't expect anybody to sit down and go through and watch a 2-hour live feed if you didn't catch it when I was doing it. My live feeds are more for the people that are able to tune in and sit down and talk and be here and share the comments and have a little bit of a conversation back and forth. So don't feel obligated. If you're a subscriber of mine and you think you gotta watch all my videos, don't worry about that. Have a good night, guys. I really do appreciate you stopping in, and thanks for joining me tonight. I'll see you guys next time. I will definitely be posting a video tomorrow on the cutting board. If you guys are interested in the cutting board giveaway, be sure to check that out. I'll be posting that tomorrow. So have a good night. And if you guys ever have any questions or anything, feel free to comment on any one of my videos, and I'll be sure to get back to you. So take care, good night, and see you guys next time.